Hey guys, welcome back to Homestead Prepping and Survival. Today I want to talk about the importance of water. So there's a rule out there that most preppers talk about at some point in time, and it's called the rules of three. Now, I've mentioned it before, but basically the rules of three are you can last 3 minutes without oxygen. Okay, you can last 3 hours without shelter, and that's in extreme conditions. For those of you that live in a much colder climate that I do and so on, but even here in southwest Georgia, certain times it gets very cold down here. I mean, we've had 16, 18 degree weather, and you don't want to be out in that without some type of way to get yourself out of it and warm for a very long period of time. But basically 3 hours without shelter in extreme temperatures. And that could also be in the heat. Those that live in the desert areas, you get out in that sunshine. If you don't get a way to get out of that sun, 3 hours and you're done. So 3 minutes without oxygen, 3 hours without shelter, and then 3 days without water. So if you can't consume the water your body needs, sorry about that, my phone's going off, 3 days you're going to be dehydrated, and after a day and a half to 2 days it's going to be hard to have that cognitive ability to think clearly and motor skills function to be able to do things without keeping your body with the amount of water it needs. So basically, as a rule, okay, as general rule, everybody says a different amount. Some places in preppers say 3 gallons of water per person. Some places say 2 gallons of water per person. Some say 1. I know myself, it's 1.5 gallons to 2 gallons of water per day. I probably don't drink enough water. I know I don't, but I do. My water comes in the form of Louisiana sweet tea. So, anyway, you've got to have water, and you can only go about 3 days without water. And then you've got about 3 weeks without food. Now, those of you that have ever really been hungry know by the time 3 weeks is up and you haven't eaten, you're pretty weak. It's hard to do things after just a week, week and a half without food, without nourishment. But 3 weeks without food, on that last week, you're not surviving. You're just waiting on time to go. Okay? So those are the rules of three. 3 minutes without oxygen, 3 hours without shelter, 3 days without water, and 3 weeks without food. So, of course, you can extend that by rationing what you have and making the time go longer. But those are the general rules of prepping. So, today's topic that I want to talk about is the third rule of the rules of three, which is 3 days without water. How much water do you have stored that's potable water? It means you can drink it without doing anything to it. Okay, potable water is good, clean drinking water. Now, that water can be in the form of sweet tea or Kool-Aid or whatever, but you need water intake. So how much do you have stored? How long can you go if your water doesn't come out of the faucet when you turn it on? Especially those that live in the city and that are on city water. Even if the city has backup generators, which most don't, even if they have backup generators to run the city wells that keep the water towers full, you're only getting days or week before they run out of fuel. So if an EMP hit, would that generator work? And also, once they run out of fuel, how are they going to get it resupplied so they can get the water back on again? You need water, guys. 3 days without water is a serious thing. The body is mostly made up of water. So without it, you're not going to exist. Point blank. So in my note on my video I did before, I put on there 2 gallons of water per person per day. So if you did that for a week, that's 14 gallons of water. You did that for 4 weeks, which is approximately a month. That is what? 14, 14, 28. 28 and 28 is 56 gallons of water. That's just to drink. How many of you can grab a 55-gallon drum and put it on your back and tote it everywhere you go? Nobody. A gallon of water weighs 8.3 pounds, plus the container. So how do you store your water? And what I'm telling you is, I'm not telling you to go out there and spend a whole bunch of money, but I do have, my sister's well went out a week or 2 ago. I do have those 7-gallon containers that you can buy at the big box stores, that's got the spout on it, so you can set it on the counter and fill glasses and pots and things like that from that. But even 7 gallons isn't going to last long. I took 2 over to them to get them by until I could get the well fixed. And, you're not, yeah, you can go a day if you have to, but you're not going to go too long without water from somewhere. So y'all think about that. I save like cranberry juice, apple juice, orange juice, milk, whatever. I save all the containers that are in good condition that I can seal back up and wash them out and fill them with potable water. Now, I've got 4 55-gallon drums outside. Might be 3 now. I can't honestly remember, but either way, I've got 55-gallon drums out there filled with water, and I've had those barrels filled for many years. They're food-grade barrels. I had to buy them years ago. I can't remember how much I paid for them, but of course, like everything, it's gone up. But if you take 8 drops of regular chlorine bleach, not your lemon scented and all this other stuff, regular chlorine bleach, 8 drops per gallon will kill bacteria and things in the water and make it safe to consume. Okay? So the way to do that would be, if you're getting water from a creek or a pond, right, or an unsafe source, whatever it may be, is first of all, you want to get the big sediments out of the water. So you want to fill your container and pour it through some type of media that's going to separate out all the dirt and that kind of stuff. But the viruses and bacteria can still be in that water. So once you've got it filtered down to the point that it looks clean, it's still not safe to drink. Put 8 drops of regular chlorine bleach in that gallon of water. Let it sit for about 20 to 30, 40 minutes. Then go back to that gallon and smell of that water. If you smell chlorine, if you smell bleach, that water should be safe to drink. If you don't drink that water. You can put 8 more drops in that same gallon and wait another 20, 30 minutes and then go back and smell that water. If you do not smell chlorine in that water is not safe to consume. It will make you sick. And the last thing you need when you're rationing water is to have diarrhea from drinking bad water to make your dehydration worse. So you can do that twice. 8 drops of chlorine bleach per gallon of water. Wait about 30 minutes, smell it. If you do not smell the chlorine after 30 minutes, do it one more time. And then wait another 30 minutes. If you don't smell bleach, that water is too dirty to consume. Now, other ways of purifying water for drinking would be boiling it. Everybody knows that. When they flush the water lines out in the cities and stuff, they issue a boil water for people. And the reason is that boiling the water, getting the water hot enough to boil for an extra minute or whatever from the boiling point kills the germs and bacteria in the water, and you can drink it that way. But chlorine bleach is much, much faster. So if you've got containers and you want to store water for long term, you can put 4 drops of water, of bleach in that gallon of water. If you're getting it out of your faucet and it's safe to drink now, just put about 4 drops in there, and that will help it stay fresher longer. Okay? You're not going to taste it, none of that stuff. It's fine. You're gonna have clean drinking water you can cook with, you can drink, and all of that stuff. Okay? Bathing water doesn't have to be that clean, as long as you're not getting it inside your body. But for drinking and consuming, cooking and stuff, it needs to be clean water. So that was the purpose of the video today, is talk about how much water do you have, and have you thought up ways you can save it. They make these things that you can put in your bathtub and fill it up from the bathtub, and it holds 100 gallons or 150 gallons or whatever. And those things are great. But guess what? When I built my house, I didn't put a tub in it. My house has a pretty much 4x4 shower, ceramic tile shower. So if I get to the age, this was intended to be my retirement home, if I get to the age where I'm in a wheelchair or I can't stand up and, that kind of thing, I can walk in that shower with a walker or roll in with a wheelchair or whatever I need to do. And there's enough room in there for me to get in there and turn around and still be able to take care of myself. That's important for me. But those of you that have a tub, you can fill that water bulb up and have good, safe water for quite a little while. But start saving your containers, wash them good, make sure they're nice and sterile, then fill them up with good, clean water, and they can come in handy when things like the well goes out. Whatever, you're going to need it. You're going to need it for drinking. You're going to need it for brushing your teeth. You're going to need it for cooking, all of those things. So think about it. Come up with ways. Get creative. I'm gonna talk about one more thing too. My old furniture, before I bought the living room suite I've got now, I took the cushions and things out of the couch and the love seat, and I flipped that thing upside down and took all the springs and all out, and I framed up the inside of the couch up under it, around the bottom edge and the edge where the cushions would sit. I framed it with 2x2s all the way around. Then I cut some OSB to fit the bottom, and I cut a piece to fit the top, and then put the cushions back on it. And I had a lot of people that came to my house visiting that would sit on that furniture, and we'd be there for, half a day, hours, whatever, talking, and they never even realized that they were sitting on a month's worth of food. So inside that furniture, I got creative, and I had ketchup, mustard, mayonnaise, all kinds of spices, canned vegetables, all that stuff in there because it was safe to store at room temp, and it gave me places in my little house to store food. So just an idea. It worked. It worked really well. The reason I kept the furniture as long as I did was because I had that, and people didn't know about it unless I told them, of course. So get creative, find ways to store water, find ways to, store food. But, I've seen other videos, doomsday preppers and that kind of stuff, where people took 30-gallon drums, food grade drums, and filled them with water and put them in the bedroom and hung the sheets off the side so you really couldn't see the barrels. They'd be 9 or 12 of them, whatever it is. And they put their mattress and box springs on top of them. People can get creative. So, get your juices flowing, get your brains going, and figure out a way that you can store what you need. Whether you're a prepper for that short-term power outage for, a few hours or a few days or a week, or whether you're the, what I call hardcore prepper that is prepping for the end of the world as we know it. Crap hitting the fan, long term. I don't expect my government to save me, or anybody else for that matter. God gave me the brains and the ability to save myself and my family, and I'm going to use what God gave me and prepare for the worst of times. So anyway, guys, if you find value in the channel, please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed, and share the channel when you can. It really helps me grow the channel. I appreciate all of you that have already done that, and for those almost 2,500 views out there, And it only counts when you watch a video. If you watch my video on your phone and then you watch it again tomorrow, it still only counts it as once. So 2,500 views on different devices, or 2,500 people, whichever way you want to look at it. That's a lot of views for a 4-month-old channel, and I really, really appreciate that. But guys, sharing the channel helps me grow it. More people that we can help prepare and be ready when stuff does hit the fan. Look at the Ukraine-Russia conflict going over there right now, the war that they've got started. There's a lot of people in Ukraine that can't go to the store and buy groceries. The stores are empty. What would happen if that happened here? Now, I really seriously doubt there'll ever be a foreign country, at least in the near future, on our soil. But war is devastating. There's a lot of reasons to prep, and that would be one of them. So if you find value, please hit that thumbs up button. Smash it, as Keeping It Dutch says. And, subscribe if you're not already subscribed. I do appreciate y'all. Remember the 2 things I always tell you. Jesus loves you, and so do I. Y'all be safe.